Hello, everyone. I want to give this little shout out in a live session as well um, on the concept of time management. I often see that, especially in the groups that I'm in, the Reddit groups and the Facebook groups, that a lot of people want to manage their time, like book in certain levels of their days to do certain things. And I want to add upon that this might work, like in certain levels um, of organization. Like it kind of works, but it's holding you back at the same time as well. Like what most people start doing when they hear the concept of time management is then they receive a piece of project, an action, or something like that, and based on that, they reserve an 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours to do that specific task. What I noticed is when you're doing that, is that you're limiting yourself to be creative and to feel that freedom behind that. And what I often say is do not manage your time, but manage your actions, because the goal itself is to have freedom. Because your mind, the quality of your mind, the speed in which that your mind works, is way quicker comparison to like the stuff that you can do physically, like doing the stuff. Like even imagine, like if you um, reserve 2 hours to do a big project. Well, during those 2 hours, your mind will kind of like wander and think about different things and like all of the different concepts. And the trickiest thing is to like capture all of those thoughts that you have at that moment, like write them down somewhere in your brain dump or something else. I talked about the brain dump concept as well, and deal with them later, so you can be focused on one specific thing, but and that's your action. Like, what do you actually need to do? Because a lot of us are planning our days full just to be in that state of, hey, I'm busy. Well, the goal is not to be busy and to like keep working for someone else, for a boss that has you for 40 hours. You get paid for that. And then you need to like manage the things inside of those 40 hours. Because the trick thing is, if you have full control over all of your actions, like all of the outgoing actions, like there's no limitation, like there's nothing falling over, like just taken care of, then you can start enjoying the here and the now. Like actually enjoying the here and the now, right now. And then you're not saying to yourself that it's so busy, busy, busy because your subconscious is listening. The time trap that we have kind of created, the trap of time management, is creating that feeling of a rat race. And there are quite a lot of speakers out there that suggest, as in, yeah, you need to make loads of money to escape that rat race, which is kind of true. If you're making enough money, then you can uh, hire other people to do the stuff. But the trick thing is, it's all about that mindset concepts behind this. It's not about actually like managing your time, but it's about managing your actions beneath that. And like the getting things done system is amazing for that. Having 5 different categories, and every action that comes in can be placed in one of these fives. One of these five. So that includes like an appointment as well. I kind of want to give a little nuance, so this is my flavor on top of that. David Allen talks about next action someday, maybe waiting for, and then the time bound actions. What I personally do, I renamed those first two as in an actionable must and a non actionable must. So that means must is a concept of you decided upon you doing this with yourself or with someone else. I'm currently doing a 30-day breathwork quest, so a challenge, and that's actually a must. I haven't agreed upon this with someone else that I actually would do that. I kind of did that because I mentioned this to certain people and now as well live. But then those actions become a must. And watching a video is a must because that's included within that quest. But I can only do the first video. That's an actionable must. And I can do my daily practice. That's also an actionable must. I've integrated that into my morning routine, but that's an actionable must that I actually need to check off. And then the next day, a new action will come up. So really focus your idea of making that switch from managing your actions, managing your time to managing your actions. Because as most people that know me already, I'm pretty active in that. Let's call it spiritual mindset, growth mindset, self-development, really focusing on that version of me as an individual. And in that world, in that spiritual world, they often talk about a concept called time bending. As in, okay, see a certain action that you would normally take 1 hour. Imagine if it takes 30 minutes. Imagine if it's 15 minutes. It's true, but it's also very practical, as in, hey, what is that action that you need to do? Normally it would take myself an hour. Okay, how can I increase that? Be curious about yourself. Don't make it into a whole spiritual woo-woo to save you guys time. Seriously, when someone is telling you, I'm selling you this app because that will save you so much time. Oh, don't do that, because it will increase your learning curve. And do you actually need it? Do you actually have that output? Really tune into your own actions that you have as an individual. And then a little bit go back into that state of, okay, how can I spend, instead of 2 hours on this topic, how can I make it 1.5 or an hour? Increase the level of speed of the video, watching the video. Great. Don't overcomplicate it. But the trickiest thing is, what I noticed, is that it's embedded into our language as well. So what I have some background in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and they were really focusing on choosing words that weren't limiting or weren't negative. That's kind of the main thing. And they did some visual, auditive, and kinesthetic language models as well. But I use that knowledge that I have from NLP to lean into that concept of how do people speak about them feeling busy. Because them speaking that to themselves is actually making them busy in a certain way. So, it's quite nice. I like these little talks, this, 8 minutes. There's a lot of content, a lot of value within these nuggets, and I'm just putting it out there just to free flow, to have it outside of my mind, because I just saw someone in the in Reddit, and he actually mentioned as in, please explain time management at work for me. I have ADHD and I'm about to start with a coach to find when I find one. My worst skill by far is time management. It's already imprinted that time management is a skill that you need to master. It's forcing people to be that good employee and to be that and everything is a learning curve. I get it. but there's such a story behind all of these nuggets. And the reason why I speak up about this lively, not to like stir resistance or to fight or something like that, but to really tune into the invitation of like what's going on with you as an individual. Like what's the freedom that you want to achieve? To escape that whole concept of, well, social media, like getting your attention, because you're the one that's in control over these kind of things. Like this guy, I imagine it's a guy based on how he speaks. He says, I once spoke to a counselor who said time is a resource to be managed. And he was like, what? People managing their time as a resource? Like, don't. That blew my mind, and I'm generous with my time. As I'm generous with my time, and I can't see time. Yeah, and I can't see time. Point. I suppose so. Never thought of the goal of managing it. So I understand where he's going, because managing time kind of makes us live in the future and makes us live in the past. And it has served us well as humanity, as especially in the Western world. But it's withholding us from tuning into ourselves as an individual. As in enjoying this current moment where I'm currently like speaking to you like lively. Now I reached 200 subscribers. Check out, like a personal win. Um, but enjoying this current state, like in the state that I'm in, without thinking about the BS, without thinking about all of the stress and all of the limiting beliefs or limiting ideals that I need to have. No, we don't need to have those limiting beliefs. It's just being truest version of you. Whenever you decide upon something with someone, then it's like, yeah, I should have done that. Or I should do that. Great. Manage your actions. Because every one of us is like a child that's playing in this thing that we call life. I almost want to say we're just human, but I don't mean that as in we're just human as to minimize us. But it's not take life too seriously like this. Like live in the way that you want it to be. Like I'm enjoying these little talks with you. How many people or how little people that are actually watching and taking this time to see this fact. And like I imagine it's quite difficult to start it off with it because I personally I got a lot of resistance when I was in control over my stuff. I had my 40-hour work week decrease into a 4-hour work week. As in, yeah, I was just in control. I was relatively new at that job at that moment, and I already had that skill of action management and Notion and programming and all of that stuff. So every new interaction, every new piece of information that I got, I quite easily automated that directly at the beginning. So I had a benefit. So comparison to the current state that you're most probably in with a job or what something else. But it's being in that state of no, I'm fine. Like I'm not busy. And at a certain moment, like my bosses started to come in with more job, with more work, because they saw that I was relaxed and they saw that I was just like having conversations with people, like with colleagues, like drinking coffee and stuff like that. It was a governmental job, so that was BS anyway, um, which was quite funny. Um, but you will notice resistance of the people around you because people suspect you. They want you to feel busy. Like you should be busy, otherwise you're not working hard enough. And that's the resistance that you will experience while diving into this concept, which is good. Like the impact that I'm having now with the people around me, with the growth that I'm personally having, and with the um, giving all of that value to people, it is so massively. It's like serious, like unbelievable the amount of people that I am now able to help. Like it's so beautiful. Good. I want to close it off with because I need to start watching my video for Livebook. Oh, my Livebook! But that will be a different video as well. Livebook is so amazing as everything starts coming together with my second brain right now. PKS, Personal Acknowledgement System. Second brain is kind of the brand of Tiago Forte, so that's kind of. But it's slowly coming together, and I'm getting goosebumps because I do have some trouble with the basics, just managing my personal life. That's also why I'm so deep into this particular subject. Um, and so the invitation as well, including like this guy with ADHD, lean into the stuff that you are struggling with, that you have questions about, that you don't know just yet. Like this guy already, amazing that he put it online on Reddit, asking that question. In an ideal situation, when he starts learning his insight, then for him to publicize his insight somewhere. Because based on the insight, he will help everyone around him who is struggling with something similar. Because most of us don't speak up about the, not the BS, but the, yeah, I'm like kind of stuck about this. Like, what do you mean? Like, this doesn't really work. But everyone kind of seems like it works for them. Most of the time it doesn't. Um, but it's you sharing your own insight, your own learning curves. That's like everyone is a teacher. Everyone is a producer, a content, not even a content creator, it is a value creator. Focus on value creation, not on content creation. I really hope that this is now 17 minutes already. I really hope that this was value creation. It is content as well, but it's mostly a value that I want to give. As this is clarifying my personal understanding of this subject. And it's also, if you've come so far and listened to this and perhaps even more videos of me or interviews or stuff like that, then it's, yeah, like I've listened to like 4-hour podcasts of people. Like it's so amazing to truly tune into a specific person without just like watching those cat videos or watching those ladies dance or watching those um, cars ride circles, stuff like that, like entertainment. Like really be careful for with entertainment. Like really focus your focus point where you want to focus upon on the stuff that you want to improve in your life as an individual. Because individual life improvement, that's the goal here. Or at least that's my belief that I have behind all of these videos. Good. And if you really resonate with this, like feel free to have an appointment to book a call. I have it on my YouTube somewhere, like timgoertz.com/aim, and you can find the booking link there. And I'm really looking forward to speak with you as an individual. Good. Enjoy the rest of your day. All the best.